Hey YouTube, this is Jacob with Good to Go Gear. I'm here to do kind of a channel update and a video review of this item. I'll talk about this in just a moment. I know I don't have a lot of subscribers or viewers, but I just figured I'd do a update on kind of why I haven't really been around YouTube and posting videos as often, and I do apologize for that. We've just had a lot going on. Like I've mentioned before, I've told y'all that I'm in the West Texas oil field, and here lately, if you're keeping up with the gas prices and the oil industry at all, you'll know there's been kind of a decline in the price of oil, and it's been on purpose by the Saudis and different countries over there intentionally driving the prices of our oil down, basically just because we're producing it too fast. We're not slowing down at all, and so they lowered the prices drastically, and so my wife and I had I guess about 2.5 years ago built a house, and we were buying it, and we loved it. It's a great house, very nice, very pretty, and with all this going on, you know, I'm a young husband and father. We had our first kid, and I didn't want to get stuck with our mortgage if I got terminated or just lost my job, I guess. So we were blessed that almost pretty much everything we own was paid off except the house, and so we decided to put our house up for sale. And around the same time we decided to put our house up for sale, we decided to that I should start looking for another job outside of the oil industry. So I guess around May or so, I started putting out applications, looking for a different job and all over the country, and that's kind of where this came in. I had purchased this in November of 2014, not specifically with that in mind, but I'll get to why I originally purchased this in a minute. But so we ended up selling our house in Midland. Well, we lived in Midland, Texas. We sold our house in Midland, and then we ended up renting from a buddy of mine that owned a house in Stanton, Texas, which is about 20-30 minutes away, and it's actually put me more central to the area I covered for the company I worked for in the oil field, so it worked out great. We lived there basically the whole month of June, and then I did end up finding another job in East Texas, and so I quit my other job in the oil field and moved to East Texas to get another job. And so far we've been here since we moved here, basically I think July 11th, and we love it. It's way green over here compared to West Texas. West Texas, if you've never been there, it's desert. It's very dry, very dirt, a lot of cactus, very deserty. So we ended up moving to East Texas, and so far we like it a lot. We've been here, wow, I guess about a month. So we like it so far. And over here we got woods and trees and grass and water and river and lakes and lots of different options of different things to go do. So I might be able to start making some more outdoorsy type videos where it's actually pleasant to be outside and there's trees and things I can do where I can start actually making feather sticks and fires and just different types of outdoor videos. I'm not really a bushcrafter, but maybe learn more about bushcrafting and stuff like that. So I'm excited about it. My wife loves it. It's very green over here, and we're excited. So then about a week after moving here, I forgot about this, but a week after moving, I don't know how I forgot about this, but a week after moving here, I ended up getting really sick and missing several days of work, which truthfully I don't miss work very often because, you know, it's how you provide for your family. But ended up missing several days of work 1 week, and then another several days another week. But you know, they figured out what it was that was causing my problems. I was having really bad headaches, and it was causing headaches and numbness and like stroke symptoms. It was not a stroke, but don't really want to go into what it was, but they've got me on a bunch of medication right now, and it's getting better. This past since like Thursday this week, I was able to go back to work, and so they got me on a bunch of meds. I'm getting better, so hopefully it'll get cleared up and go away, and we'll get it taken care of, and I can start focusing more on my work and family and YouTube and stuff. And I try to put out a video once a week, so kind of excited about that. But this is the Levin Solstar 5000 mAh dual. This one's actually a dual USB port solar charger, and I guess most of them, if you look online, have flashlights. I was gonna say this one actually has a flashlight too. You just double click the power button, and it's not super bright, but it's enough. Like when I would travel for one of my travels, I went to Minneapolis, Minnesota, and in the hotel room I had this out on the nightstand. Don't know why. Oh, I was charging it, like my cell phone and stuff, and because on the way to Minneapolis, I went from Midland to Denver to Minneapolis, and I had to charge my phone a couple times. Because if any of you travel very much, you know it's hard to get one of those wall chargers at the airport. I didn't want to sit on the floor and be uncomfortable during my layover, so I just pulled this out of my. Truthfully, I took my EDC bag with me. I took all the outdoorsy, like knives and saws and stuff like that, out of it, and left a lot of it in it, like my stainless steel canteen and stuff like that. They let you travel that as long as it's empty when you go through security. And I believe I even took my fire starter, just the ferrocerium rods, and I don't think they said anything to me about that, because I still got it, so obviously they didn't, I guess. But I traveled, that bag was mostly empty, but I had this in the sunglasses pocket, and this is the charging cord that came with it. I have Android phones, I prefer them over the iPhones, and this end's a USB charger. And what's cool about this is when I had it in my truck or at the hotel, there was a computer in the room, and I plugged this end into the computer, and the same port that charges my phone charges the device itself, and so that worked out. So I had it up there on the desk in my room, and when I got up in the middle of the night, I needed to look for something. My head was hurting. I was trying to look for some ibuprofen I had in my bag, and so instead of grabbing a flashlight or turning the big light on and hurting my eyes, I just double clicked it and cut that on. Cause I don't know if you can see that. It's not super bright because as you go further away, it fades. But I think it's a cool feature. It's got 4 charging indicators. So you got 100%, 75%, 50%, 25%. I like it. To be honest with you, I hated it when I first got it in November 2014. So I originally got it for when I was in the oil field. I'd be at a spill or something sometimes, to be out of the truck, and my personal phone would be dying, and I would plug it in for that in case my wife called or something. And so that way when I was out of the truck, I could get it charged. And what I would do is here's the, they say it's water resistant. I wouldn't drop it in any puddle, but it is water resistant. And you just pull this piece back and stick the USB port in here, like so. And then you stick this into your phone. And then I would just put them back to back and stick it in my shirt pocket. And it worked as long as the phone was on, like if you were listening to music or on the phone, it would work until the phone would go to sleep. If the phone would go to sleep, like the save battery, you can still be talking on the phone or listening to music, but it would black itself out, doesn't conserve the battery. This thing, once it did that, this thing was shut off. And I couldn't figure out why it was doing that, and it drove me nuts. It got almost to the point where I quit carrying it, and I did quit carrying it sometimes, and will put other stuff in that sunglasses compartment of my bag. And then I took it with me on my trips, and my wife's like, hey, you bought it, you're going to be traveling, you're going to be listening to music stuff, your phone's liable to die, why don't you take it? And I was like, man, I don't know. And so in May, on my trip to Minneapolis, I took it, and she was right. I'm glad I did, because my phone died, in the Denver airport. Not died, but it was at 7%. And so I pulled this out and stuck it in there, and went to use it. And what I found was, as long as, I knew it would die if I let the phone go to sleep. And so I kept the phone awake, which kind of frustrated me because like, it's not going to give me as good of a charge. But I kept it awake just like 15 minutes and stuff. And then my wife called and we were talking. And while we were talking, I forgot to keep it awake. And when we got off the phone, I was like, oh man, I bet my battery's almost dead again. And it wasn't. I guess if you leave it awake long enough, like I don't know how long it took. I didn't pay attention to it. I don't guess there's no way for me to really know how long it took. But I was messing around with the music, just kind of moving the music options, just looking for new songs and stuff, trying to like purposely keeping the phone awake. And between 0 and about 15 minutes, it just stayed awake, or this thing stayed on. And so it charged my phone all the way back up to 100%. I unplugged it, listened to my phone. By the time after the layover and stuff, and after listening to music on the flight, by the time I got to Minneapolis, my phone was down to about 50%, and I got it back up to 100% by the time I got to the hotel. And this thing was down to where it only had one bar, 25%. So I charged it the next day, and it worked. And then the next day when I flew home, I went from Minneapolis to Houston back to Midland. Same thing, it worked. And so I don't know what happened, but it works. And so it does work. It works good. I like it. I didn't get it wet or anything. I didn't drop it because it's supposed to be water resistant, not waterproof, but water resistant, shock proof, and pretty durable. It's got kind of a rubberized feel to it. Like when I would set it down in my truck on the dash, it doesn't really slide. I mean, I can force it to. You can feel it gripping as I push it, but it is gripping. And so I put on my dash or my center console in my work truck, and it wouldn't slip and slide around all over the truck. I like that feature. It came with a carabiner as well, like just a little cheapo carabiner, so you could hook it on like your backpack or something, and as you're walking, like let it charge. It does say to not, like the battery, it's a lithium polymer battery, and it's supposed to be explosion proof. I never even worried about that. I didn't think about it. But it does say not to leave it like in Texas, it's pretty hot in Texas. And it does say don't leave it on like your dash, and where the dash is hot and then the sun's bearing down on it and this gets hot, because it says it might cause some swelling but it won't explode. So I would just put it on the seat of my truck or on top of my backpack in the truck. And it doesn't take a whole lot of daylight to turn this when it's I'm kind of rambling all over the place, but when it's solar charging, it doesn't take a lot of daylight to get this to cut on, and this first LED will glow green, showing you that it's charging with solar, and it doesn't take a whole lot of light. And now I never tried to just intentionally just charge it, from dead to full with solar, because it says it takes 7 to 8 hours, and I was like, dang, like that's a long time. And because in my pickup truck, you've got USB ports, and so I would just plug in the USB, and then this end charges this. And so I just switched it around and then charge it up, real quick. And that way it doesn't take long at all. I think it takes like an hour or two. I never really kept track. I probably should have, but I wasn't really worried about it. As long as you can get it charged and use it, it's fine with me. But for my needs and my uses, this thing's worked great. We haven't gone on any hikes yet, I don't believe. But if we go on any hikes, I'll definitely take it with me, because it comes in handy. It comes in handy for charging your phones. I don't have any of those USB charging flashlights, and I haven't tried charging my tablet with it or anything. But I like it so far. Like I said, when I first got it, it kind of pissed me off. Then I kind of figured out how to use it, I guess, and I've been impressed with it ever since. I have dropped it like just in the house on tile or something, and I haven't noticed any damage. The solar screen, doesn't seem cracked or any problems. And in my truck, it used to slide all the way across the dash. When I took on the lease roads, you hit some bumps on a turn, and where it would bump up, it would just kind of bump all the way across the dash. And every now and then it would do it and fall on the floorboard, and he'd get into all the dirt and shit I had on the floorboard of my work truck. But that happened maybe 2-3 times, so it got a little beat up, and I guess it did slide around on the dash. But like I said, I don't know. I don't count it, because I don't know if any of y'all ever ridden around on the lease roads in the oil field, but they're pretty rough. And you had to be going, 35, 40 miles an hour on those lease roads, you know. And every now and then you might hit a bump or a couple bumps that would bounce it. And once you lose that original friction, it would kind of bounce around a little bit, I guess. But like I said, that didn't happen but once or twice, because the lease roads speed limits are really pretty low most times. Like some of them, there's not marked, but most of them are low, so it didn't happen very often. I think I only remember it happening 2, maybe 3 times. I think the third time it actually fell from the backpack to the floor. So like I said, not very bad. But all in all, I've been pretty impressed with this. Again, this is the Levin Solstar 5000 mAh rechargeable or portable charger. I like it. It's the model YDT011 lithium polymer battery. It says the battery is actually a 6000 mAh solar charging. So all in all, I guess here lately I've been pretty impressed with it once I figured out how to get it to work. So I feel like you do lose some charge because you have to get your phone to stay awake constantly to keep it charging. But I don't think you're going to lose a lot from that. Plus, if you're worried about losing that much, I mean, I guess clip it to your backpack, or you know, if you're on a hike, or set it on your dash if you're driving, and let it charge. You know, if you're worried about losing that much charge. But overall, I've been able to get, I think traveling back from Minneapolis to Houston to Midland, I got about like 1 full charge and another about a half charge out of it. So I'm not getting 2 full charges for my cell phone out of it, but about a charge and a half. And that was over, you know, I traveled basically all day, both days. So I think it works fairly decent for me. Because my phone, luckily my phone, I have a Samsung Galaxy S5, and my phone has a pretty good battery life as is. So I've been pretty impressed with it so far. But all in all, I think with this product, as long as you kind of figure out how to use it, you should be good to go. So this is Jacob with Good to Go Gear, and I'll talk to you next time. Thanks.